All right, let's talk about one of the most important companies you've probably never even thought about. It's called Cloudflare, and honestly, it's like the invisible plumbing and the top-notch security guard for a massive chunk of the internet you use every single day.
You know the feeling, right? We have all been there. You're trying to buy something, check the news, whatever, and you just get nothing. The endless loading spinner or, even worse, an error message. Well, that shared frustration is exactly why we need to talk about this.
And sometimes you get this little gem, the bad gateway error. It's basically a digital dead end, and it's a symptom of a much bigger, kind of surprising truth. The internet is way more fragile than any of us really think.
So why does this stuff happen? Well, it usually boils down to a few key problems. Sometimes, the server hosting the website is just physically too far away from you, which makes things super slow. Other times, a site gets a huge sudden burst of traffic, maybe something went viral, and the servers just can't keep up. And then there are the bad guys, malicious attacks designed specifically to knock websites offline.
To see just how serious this can get, let's look at a real-world disaster. On November 18, 2023, a single, misconfigured file deep inside Cloudflare's own system started to grow out of control. It sounds like a small thing, right? But it set off this massive chain reaction, a cascading failure that for 6 hours took thousands of major websites and online services completely offline.
Now think about that for a second. The internet wasn't brought to its knees by some sophisticated team of hackers. It was an internal mistake, a self-inflicted wound. This just goes to show you how a single point of failure can have these enormous internet-scale consequences for literally everyone.
Which of course leads us to the big question. If the internet is this vulnerable to distance, to getting too popular, to attacks, and even to simple human error, how does anyone keep a website online and running smoothly? Well, the answer is a really clever concept called a reverse proxy. The best way to think about it is like the front-of-house staff at a really busy restaurant. You, the customer, give your order to the host. The host then takes it back to the chaotic, busy kitchen, deals with everything, and brings your food back out to you. You never have to go into the kitchen yourself. In this story, the website server is the kitchen, and Cloudflare, it's that super efficient host.
So here's how that actually works in practice. When you go to a website that uses Cloudflare, your request doesn't go straight to that website's home base. Nope. First, it gets sent to a Cloudflare server that's physically close to you. Cloudflare then acts as that helpful middleman. It inspects your request for anything sketchy, blocks threats, grabs the content you want from the original server, and then delivers it back to you super fast.
And the difference this makes is, well, it's night and day. Without Cloudflare, your computer connects directly to a website server. That means the server's home address, its IP address, is just out there, exposed and vulnerable. But with Cloudflare, your connection gets filtered through their massive global network. It completely shields the original server, hiding its real location and protecting it from all those direct attacks.
So this middleman service isn't just a simple shield. It's actually a master multitasker. It's doing 3 incredibly important jobs all at once, making websites faster, safer, and a whole lot more reliable.
First up, speed. It makes the web faster using something called a Content Delivery Network, or CDN. Look, imagine if there was only one coffee shop for your entire city, right downtown. The commute would be a nightmare. Instead, coffee chains put a shop in pretty much every neighborhood. Cloudflare does the exact same thing for websites. It stores copies of them in data centers all over the world. So the pictures, the text, the videos, it's all physically close to you, which means it loads way faster.
Second, it makes the web a whole lot safer, mainly by stopping these nasty things called DDoS attacks. The robocall analogy is honestly perfect here. A DDoS attack is just like thousands of robocalls flooding a company's phone lines all at once. It's just junk traffic designed to jam the system so real customers can't get through. Cloudflare's huge network just acts like a giant sponge, soaking up all that junk traffic before it can do any damage.
And the scale of these attacks it's just mind-boggling. Not long ago, Cloudflare stopped a record-breaking attack that peaked at 7.3 terabits per second. I mean, that's an amount of data that's almost impossible to even imagine. So let me try to put that in perspective. It would be like trying to download nearly 10,000 full high-definition movies all at the same time in under a minute, and Cloudflare's network just absorbed it? Wild.
And third, Cloudflare makes the web stronger or more reliable through something called load balancing.
So let's say a website's main server starts to get overwhelmed with good traffic, a viral post or a huge sale. Cloudflare acts like a smart traffic cop, intelligently rerouting new visitors to other, less busy servers. This prevents the whole system from crashing under its own popularity.
So Cloudflare is this incredible shield, right? It's making sites faster, safer, more reliable. But, and this is the big but, this brings us right back to that massive outage we talked about. If so much of the internet is depending on this one company for protection, what on earth happens when the protector itself fails? After that outage, the company's CEO, Matthew Prince, was incredibly direct. And this quote really says it all about the responsibility they carry. He didn't just apologize to his customers, he apologized for the pain they caused the internet. That phrasing tells you everything you need to know.
And this points to a huge concept for the modern internet: centralization risk. By making our website safer and faster through one amazing service, we've also kind of accidentally created a massive single point of failure. When it works, it's brilliant. But when it breaks, it takes a huge piece of the internet down with it.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's not that Cloudflare is bad. Not at all. They provide an absolutely essential service. The real lesson is that the internet we all depend on is more fragile and interconnected than we realize. These companies are our invisible guardians, but that protection creates a powerful dependency. The goal isn't to stop using them, but to understand the risks and build systems that are prepared for the day when even the guardians stumble.
And that leaves us with a really critical question for the future. We've built this amazing digital world that relies on these invisible guardians to keep it safe and running. But who guards the guardians?
If you're looking for more simple and useful tech insights just like this, be sure to subscribe to Refreshing Tech. Thanks for tuning in.